Thank you. My name is Joel Haesecke. That is a German name. In German, it's pronounced Haesecke, which means, it's loosely translated, cornered rabbit. Okay, so if you have a name that is foreign to this country, which most of us do, I would go ahead and recommend not looking up its origin and what it means, okay, for two reasons. One, you may find out that it means something stupid like cornered rabbit, okay? And two, you may feel tempted to tell people about what your name means and nobody wants to hear that shit. So I do have children, as some of the other comics do as well tonight, and I have three kids. I have a 6-year-old girl, I have a 4-year-old boy, and an 11-month-old boy. And I hang out with the 11-month-old a lot. And if anybody has spent any time with a kid that age, their criminal behavior is so fucking obvious. If you're holding an 11-month-old, they will slap you in the face. And then just wait, and regardless of your reaction, start laughing at you. That's the technical definition of a sociopath, okay? You ever say something to somebody and they just have a completely different reaction than you thought they were gonna have? I was bartending over here the other night, and I walk up to a buddy of mine, and I don't know why I said it, I was just bored actually. But I went up to him and I said, "What do you think, man? You think you can just pray the gay away?" And he said to me, without skipping a beat, he said, "I don't know, man. Women drive me crazy half the time, and I love hanging out with my guy friends. But at the end of the day, dicks are gross." I was like, "You want another beer, bro, or are you good?" So my other son, who's 4, he keeps me on my toes, I will say that. He's a lot like me, and there's never a dull moment. I was at the gas station the other day, I was pumping gas, and he rolls down the window, and he looks at me and says, "Daddy, I gotta poop." I'm like, "Okay, no big deal. Finish pumping up the gas, let's go inside." We're on our way into the gas station, and he goes, "Oh." I'm like, what's the problem, buddy?" "I already pooped." "Okay, all right, you already pooped, man, no big deal. We'll go into the bathroom, we'll take care of this. By the way, if you have kids, or if you like to shit yourself, the best piece of advice I can give you is ditch the underwear. Why are you fucking with underwear? Are you that fucking broke? You can't just be shitty underwear. Just ditch it in the trash can, wipe the ass, clothes go back on, no underwear, you're good to go. Okay, this is not that big a deal." All right, I've shit myself as an adult, okay? I'll admit that. I sound a little too confident right now, don't I? Okay, so I am confident in that, and I show this to my son. I take care of it immediately. "Underwear's gone, buddy, don't worry about it. Let's go over here." And he's kind of looking at me kind of weird still, and I'm like, "What is wrong?" And he goes, "I got some on my finger." And I'm like, "This is fucking gross, man. Like, really? You got some on your fucking finger? Okay, come on, no big deal. Come here. Let's go wash it off." So we go over there, underwear's already gone, we're going to wash it off. And I'm like, "Geez, this is fucking disgusting. This is a lot of shit on your finger." And he goes, "You should have seen it before I wiped it off." So I take a second and I'm like, "Before you wiped it off?" I'm starting to think about it. And started to get kind of nice with him at this point. "Where'd you wipe it off, buddy?" Well, he gives me that look like, "Oh, fuck. Like, I said something I shouldn't." "I don't know." I know better than that. I know he fucking wiped it off. "Did you wipe it off in Daddy's truck?" "Wiped off in Daddy's truck." Son, do you remember where you wiped it off in Daddy's truck? Okay, I'm trying to bargain with this kid like he's a domestic bioterrorist, because that's domestic bioterrorism. See what the fuck I said? And I get it. It's like, hey man, you're up here talking about your sons like they're criminals and domestic. They are. That's what they do. One of them slapped me in the face and laughed at me the other day. That's a fucking crime. I mean, I let them stay at my house, and drink all he wants, passes out in the middle of the day, that's cool. Slap me in the face and laugh about it. Okay, so I've started to realize though, because I'm kind of rolling with the punches as a father, okay? This is just the way it is. And I'm looking at it, and the way I figure it, I can take my lumps now and just deal with people wiping shit off in my truck and not freak out about it. Or I can like make him succumb to all my bullshit, and then when he's older, he's gonna fucking hate me, right? Because, not that I hate my father, but when I was young, you know, I was in a religious home, and I had to go to church, and I also, beyond that, I had to deal with his like really, really, really strange behavior, and I really couldn't question it very much. And then when I got older, I just started looking back, and I don't know if y'all ever do that, but it is fucking strange. And my dad has an interesting relationship with the English language. He would just, without telling anybody, and invariably just switch words around. Nobody has to fucking know. I walk into the room, you're watching TV, Bruce Willis is on, and I'm like, hey, what show is this? What show are you watching? Is this Bruce Willis on a show? A TV show? And I'm like, well, Dad, you know, it's a movie. You know, this is Die Hard. This isn't, you know, whatever the fuck that show was that Bruce Willis is on that I can't remember. But he was on a TV show way back in the day. But he was, Moonlighting. There you go. Thank you. But he was just constantly switching stuff. He'd come in, Seinfeld's on. How much longer does this movie have? I don't know, about 30 minutes, Pops. About 30 minutes, okay? One day, he picks me up from school. And I get in the car. Nice to see my father. He just got me from school. And I'm like, oh my God, something fucking stinks in this car. Okay, so I make it about 30 seconds before I'm like, Dad, what is that smell? And he just blurts out immediately, okay, I pooped. I'm like, what the fuck? You pooped. I'm like, 8? Okay, and I'm thinking me and my dad, we're having a moment right now, okay? Like, remember, I did that, Dad. I pooped. Remember, it was like a few months ago. That's crazy. You poop, I poop. I thought this was awesome. I thought he was opening up to me. No, that's not at all. The motherfucker doesn't know how to talk. He calls farts poops, and he calls poops bups. Yeah, you gotta tell people that you just switch words like that and just make shit up. So being a young kid in church, well, first of all, it's strange. Being a kid in church, and then you grow up, and maybe you decide some of it's silly, but it's a little strange because you start realizing that you're placating your parents at a pretty young age. You know, it's kind of weird because they're grown-ups. You know, and I can remember being young. My siblings and I, we would walk our parents to their Sunday school, and we'd drop them off. Hey, y'all have fun at Sunday school. And then we would go run into the car and hide in the car and just fucking sit there. We would just sit there, maybe listen to the radio, I don't know, but anything to avoid going to Sunday school. The only conversation we would have was whether, we always got asked, what did y'all talk about in Sunday school today? And it was all God, the Bible, Jesus, or praying, right? And if you didn't go to church today, you're fucking welcome, because that's all they were going to talk about there anyways, okay? God, the Bible, Jesus, or praying. Now, we figure there's 4 Sundays in a month, okay? So, that's all we got to decide. We got to land on one, okay? If you come in and you say they talk about Jesus and she said prayer, we are fucked, right? They're going to be on to us. What, were you sitting in the Buick during Sunday school? Okay, so, if anybody grew up in the church and they had a connection to it somehow, churches are kind of like businesses, right? They're franchises. I realize this is Waco, and there's a fucking church corner on every corner. More churches per capita in any city in the United States than Waco. So I'm preaching to the choir, I get it. But basically, my dad was an elder of a church. Okay, so the way this works in churches, they're businesses, right? So the elders are the board of directors, okay? The pastors are the branch managers, okay? The deacons, I don't know what the fuck deacons are. I have no clue. The only guys I've known that are deacons, I was pretty sure were getting laid on the cool. That's all I know. They were like, yeah, I'm a deacon. I'm like, okay. All right, so my dad was an elder, and every now and again he got to address the congregation, which, as a child of his, was fucking terrifying, okay? And if anybody has had a person that they love or that's in their family speak in front of a church, basically, you're trying to harness all your psychic energy, okay? To put it towards that person. To try to will them to not fucking mention you in any way, shape, or form, okay? Leave my name out of your mouth. You're just like, just don't do it, okay? So I'm sitting there one Sunday and I'm trying to harness all this psychic energy. My brothers and sisters are right next to me. And he starts telling the story about us, okay? Now, he begins and he's like, my kids, we're like, oh God, here we go. My kids, they fight all the time. Okay, that's not bad. It's kind of cool, actually. Yeah, fucking hell yeah, we fight all the time. Yeah, I like that. And he's like, yeah, they'll be arguing and they'll be saying this and that and that. And then this one will call one a doofus and this one will call that one a duck butt. Yeah, you're cringing. Did you see what I said? One calls one a doofus and the other calls one a duck butt. This is like the worst, this is the worst shit you can imagine, okay? I look over at my brother. My brother makes a look like he just smelled some strong shit, right? And just starts shaking his head. My sister's mumbling to herself, asking questions. What is that? What is that? What is a duck butt? What is a duck butt? I've never even heard of that. We haven't said that. We haven't said a duck butt. My buddy came up to me after church, and this is all he said. Dude, what the fuck? Can you imagine trying to explain that to people? It's too specific and weird to say that he made it up. We don't do this. It sounds like we were at the house just Mormon cussing the shit out of each other. Just doofus and duck butt. The fuck? But what you had to understand about my father, he had a reason for doing these things, some strange way, okay? So he was a pilot. And I came to find this out years later, because I was fucking irate about this. Clearly, like, scarred me. And I would constantly talk about duck butt. You know, it was like a fucking thing I would bring. It's like, duck butt, motherfucker? What do I say, duck butt? So finally, my mom was like, hey, you know what a duck butt is? Yeah, it's still funny to me too. And I'm like, no, it's the last plane in a formation. My father was a pilot. So just some weird word just in the back of his mind just popped out. And you don't know like where your parents are getting these things from. And so I realized you gotta be real specific when you're parenting, okay? I was talking to my son the other day, and he was playing with our puppy. We got a little chihuahua, and he was holding the puppy, and I was like, Mimi's a silly puppy, isn't she? Right? And he starts laughing really, really, really hard. Like something I said just really, really tickled him. And I'm like, for a moment there, I was like, is he laughing at me? Because that's like the gayest sentence he's ever heard. And then I remembered, like, he's 4. He has no idea of all the gay shit that I say around him. So I realized, I'm like, why is that funny? He said, Mimi was a puppy. I didn't know she was a puppy. And I'm like, what did you think I thought she was a chihuahua. He says it like I'm the idiot, right? Which, speaking of our son, my wife's in the audience, and I actually have a confession to make. We got a call the other day from the school, and he said something he wasn't supposed to, right? So you get the call from the school, and it's like, so your son Gabe, he used some inappropriate words, and immediately your posture should always be just disavow. You don't even know what they're saying right now. Words, inappropriate. What kind of words? Like what did they say? What did he say? Because you don't want any part of this. You don't want to be the one that they can pin this on. So she tells me, she goes, well, he called one of his peers a fucker guy. So the benefit to this was, what the fucker? Like my like, I was shocked. That was all genuine, right? But then I kind of took it a little far. I'm like, fucker guy, that's just weird. I mean, like hopefully you didn't hear it as some encouragement from a friend. You know what I mean? No, hey, and also, just so you know, ma'am, I'm the only guy that lives at the house, so if somebody was saying fucker guy, probably wasn't me. I'm not saying it was my wife, but you may be getting a call, baby, at some point. And here's the deal. This is all like gender specific. This guy calls someone a cunt. They're going to know who to talk to, okay? They're going to know where this all lands. Okay, I got one more, and I'm not supposed to do this bit because it's all very real. Michael, you're gonna like this, I think. This is real shit, and it's drove me fucking crazy. My daughter is 6, she's in 1st grade. She went to school, and they were like, welcome all the little 1st graders. I would like to announce that this campus is now peanut-free. Okay, peanut-free, that's people fucking, hurting people with peanuts. What's going on here? Let's look at this. I'm looking at this, it's like, you can't bring anything made with peanuts. And I'm looking even more, you can't bring shit that's made on something that packages peanuts and stuff, okay? Well, guess what? I live in a fucking small town, so I happen to know that this is not just some, magical, our campus is peanut-free. I know the one individual that's fucking allergic to peanuts. And guess what? Life's not exactly like a comic book, but a little bit it is, okay? So if your kryptonite is something as readily fucking accessible as a fucking tree nut or a legume, you are fucked, okay? So get that kid suited up for a bubble while my kid enjoys their fucking sandwich. I'm Joel and I'm out of here.